I'm going to be talking about Passover, which is celebrated at this time of the year. And Passover is really similar to the reading that was just read. It's the story of the Exodus from Egypt. And when we have our Pesach meals and our celebrations, part of the tradition is to sit down and retell the story. So we remember the story of freedom. My favorite prayer that we recite at the beginning of every new festival or holiday, or whenever we're doing something for the first time. So we say this prayer even if we're eating a new fruit of the season. And I really love this prayer because it shows our gratitude to having reached a new occasion in our lives. And the prayer is called Shehechianu, and I'll say it in English. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has granted us life, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this occasion. And I have a picture of me and my daughter lighting the candles, which is also something we do at the beginning of each Sabbath and also before all of the festivals. So yeah, so this is my daughter and I lighting our candles, which we do at the beginning of the Sabbath and the beginning of all of our festivals. This year, we had to celebrate Passover, what we call pandemic style, because normally we have a beautiful long table and I've got to bring fold up tables and we have lots of people with us. We were going to do it quite small this year, but the people who we were going to have with us, somebody in the family got COVID. So it was just us. And my son is in the States, so we had our computer on Zoom and we had a kind of a Zoom celebration. Okay, so the story of Passover. Okay, thousands of years ago, the Jewish people were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. And the Jewish people worked very hard building palaces and cities. And they didn't like being slaves. It was really hard work. And they cried and prayed to God for help. God chose Moses to lead the Jewish people. Moses went to Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." But Pharaoh didn't listen. Moses warned him that if he didn't listen, God would cause plagues to come to Egypt. Because Pharaoh didn't listen to Moses and the Jews remained slaves, the plagues appeared. So these are the 10 plagues that we've heard about. Water turning to blood, frogs, lice, flies, livestock getting sick, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and killing of the firstborn. When we're sitting at our Passover table and telling the story of Passover or Pesach, as we call it, we have a tradition that we dip our finger into a bottle of grape juice or wine. And as we recite each of the plagues, we put a dot on a plate. So we would say frogs, and then we put a dot on a plate, and then the next one. So I've just put a photograph of all of the plates because I'm an art therapist and I find it fascinating how everybody's always looks so different. After the 10th plague, Pharaoh had had enough and he ordered the Jews to leave. The Jewish people had no time to prepare food and no time for their dough to rise for bread, so they made matzah instead. For this reason, we only eat matzah during Passover. So here is what matzah looks like. It's kind of like crackers if you haven't had it. It's unleavened bread. So it's bread without yeast, bread that hasn't risen. And there's a very special way that you have to make matzah as well. The kosher way is you have to take the grain of the wheat a certain way, and you've got to grind it a certain way, and it's got to be in the oven. I think everything revolves around the number 18, which is a significant number in Judaism. So it's really interesting. The picture of that white cover is a special matzah cover. which we use for the Passover ceremony. I had to share this picture of my little parrot Zazu climbing on the matzah box and pecking at the picture of the matzah because he knew it was something to eat. So Pharaoh's army chased the Jews, but just before the Red Sea, a miracle happened. Moses raised his staff and the water split into two so they could escape. When they were on the other side, the sea separated them from Egypt, and they were finally free from slavery. The exodus from Egypt is a symbol of freedom, and freedom is one of the big themes of Passover. So what is freedom? Freedom is our right to express our opinion, which is really important. Because when we can share and exchange different points of view or different beliefs, we can learn, we can grow, we can negotiate, and we can change. And the picture on the top is a very special picture to me. I have a cousin who is deaf and blind, and that doesn't mean he can't share his opinion. There's a special kind of signing using his hand. So this is how we speak to him, and we can ask him questions and he can share his opinion with us. And the bottom picture is a picture of my little son, Geordie, who made the choice to swim in the ocean with his clothes on. And that was his choice, and he got cold and he got wet, but he had the choice. What is dignity? In the Passover story, when the Jews were in slavery, their dignity was removed. When we're not allowed freedom to give opinions or control our choices, our dignity is removed. Judaism and Christianity believe that human beings were created in the likeness of God. This belief gives us dignity in that our lives are special and sacred, and we have the right to feel worthy and respected. And there's a very important quote from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that says, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Dignity is also respect. So not only is it important to respect each other, but it's also important to respect the beautiful world we live in. So I have a picture of the photographs, the photographers near my house, and they don't respect the wildlife, and they go way too close to the baby foxes and the mom fox, and they don't respect them. Self-determination. Moses said, "Let my people go." After escaping times of hardship and enslavement, the journey of the Jewish people took them to Mount Sinai, where they received the covenant of the 10 Commandments. These laws govern how we can live in a meaningful and holy way. Self-determination is our right to have control and decide what we want in our lives. It's our right to make choices. And often in my art therapy sessions with core members, we have many conversations about what we can control in our lives, and maybe what we don't, and what choices we have. So it's very important to be proud of who you are. You never become your best self when you let others define you. That means that you mustn't ever let anybody else tell you who to be or how to act or what to think. And I know Liska's been talking about roots, and it made me think that our roots and traditions, all of us, provide us with strength and knowledge to guide us. And the roots of our religion are kind of the festivals that we've been doing and the celebrations that have been going for such a long time that help us create joyful memories and keep our families together and give us so much joy. So Easter Monday is a joyous day after Jesus was resurrected. Passover is also rooted in joy, as it's a holiday highlighting freedom, dignity, and self-determination. And spring is a time of newness, growth, when winter is over, and it's also a season of freshness and joy. So every year at Passover, we eat special foods, we sing songs, we tell stories, and we participate in a Seder, which is a very special festive meal. The book that you see here is called the Haggadah, and that book is a book telling the story of Passover. And that's what Passover is all about. It's retelling the story of the miracle and the Exodus from slavery to freedom. The Seder plate, which you also saw in the video, is very symbolic of the story of Passover. So if you look at the very top, that very bright pink is horseradish, which is so bitter and so strong. And that's symbolic of the bitterness of slavery. The parsley kind of below symbolizes growing and spring. On the right, it looks like grated apple. It's called charoset, and that is symbolic of the mortar that was used in the building when the Jews were slaves. And there are lots of different ways to make it. Normally it's grated apple. Sometimes if there are no allergies, you can put nuts in, you can put dates in, you can put red wine in or grape juice, and it's really delicious. The burnt shank bone, I just have a chicken bone on the top, is symbolic of the sacrifice when the Jews fled Egypt. And the egg is really important. And I'm fascinated at eggs in different religions. But when somebody passes away in the Jewish religion, the mourners are offered egg as their first meal. And it's also symbolic of the destruction of the temple. The rituals of Passover should inspire and guide us to become more thoughtful and grateful. The holiday emphasizes renewal, freedom, and gives us an opportunity to think about our own spiritual growth and transformation, and that of our community, to be more understanding, generous, and welcoming. And in Canada, Passover falls during the springtime, which reflects these themes. So to end my presentation, I'm going to share some of my photographs of spring from the pond on the Daybreak property, from the beautiful little forested area near my home, and from my trip to Portugal last month. And while I'm showing that for the last couple of minutes, I am going to be playing the music of a song from Passover that I think you all know. It's called Dayenu.
Die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, Dayenu, Dayenu. Sing it with me. Die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu. Yeah, you got it. Die, Dayenu, Dayenu, Dayenu. Ilu hotzianu, hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, hotzianu mi Mitzrayim, Dayenu. Sing it with me now. Die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, die, Dayenu, Dayenu, Dayenu. Ilu natananu, natananu etan Torah, natananu etan Torah, Dayenu. You got the hang of it. Die, Dayenu. That sounds good. Die, Dayenu. Die, Dayenu. Dayenu, Dayenu. Let's sing it again. Die, Dayenu. Okay. Die, Dayenu. Die, Dayenu. Dayenu, Dayenu.
So I want to wish everybody a really happy Easter and a happy Passover. And just to let you know that when we wish each other happy Passover, we say Chag Sameach. Thank you.
Can you say that one again, Lisa, so we can practice saying it back to you?
Chag. So it's like in the
Chag.
back of your throat. Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to remember that. And at the very end, when we unmute, we can all try to do that one. Okay. Chag Sameach. Yeah.
Israel was in Egypt land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard they could not stand, let my people go. Go down, go down. Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh, what are we going to tell him? To let my people go. The Lord told Moses what to do. Let my people go. To lead the children of Israel through. Let my people go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. As Israel stood by the waterside, let my people go. At God's command it did divide, let my people go. Go down, go down. Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh, what are we going to tell him? To let my people go. That's it, here we go. When they reached the other shore, let my people go. They sang the song of triumph over, let my people go. Here we go. Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt land, tell old Pharaoh, what are we going to tell him? To let my people go. Last one, here we go.